Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip board meeting. Today is April 19th, 2021. We'll call this meeting order at 7:33 p.m. Can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Zielinski?
Here.
Trustee Juarez is absent this evening. Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Nava-Esparza?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Officers, before we get to officers' reports, I always forget we had the RFP opening. Did you have those?
I do have those, but you also have it noted as number 4 under your report, so I didn't know if you
That's all
wanted
right. No,
to.
I wanted you to open those anyway.
I'm sorry, we'll do it now.
Yeah, please.
Okay. This first one does not have anybody's name on the outside of it. It was just simply listed as Pulaski Road Corridor TIF Redevelopment Project Area, and this was the first bid that had, the first response that had been received.
So, for the benefit of the public, number 4 on your agendas is the mayor's office received 2 sealed RFPs that the clerk is opening right now, request for proposal prior to the 4 p.m. deadline we had this past Friday, April 16th. The village clerk is obviously going to open these now. We just wanted to record who submitted at tonight's meeting, and we'll have a discussion on this at next week's committee meeting on the 26th, April 26th.
Okay, this is titled Proposal to Develop 11638-11658 South Pulaski, Alsip, Illinois. The name and contact information for the developer is Glazer, G-L-A-Z-I-E-R, Development, LLC. Glazer, Alsip, LLC, 1406 West Fulton, Suite A like Albert 2, Chicago, Illinois, 60607. Would you like me to read the contact people's names into the record, but not their phone numbers, correct?
Right.
There are 2 names listed here, Dan Abdo and Josh Glazer. And the second response is from Brickyard Commons, Barton Real Estate Holdings, Firewater Barbecue, 42 Sawgrass Drive, Lamont, Illinois, 60439. And this is updated RFP proposal for Brickyard Commons and Firewater Barbecue and Brew. And again, this is from Barton Real Estate Holdings, Inc., Firewater Holdings, Inc.
Okay, thank you. So I'll put a summary together for all the trustees, and we'll have a discussion about that at next week's committee meeting then, too, as far as what they're proposing for each development then, too, at the same time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before I start with my reports, I did want to introduce our new Human Resource Manager, Charles Correll. Charles, can you come up for a minute? Sorry, you haven't had an opportunity to meet some of the board members and so forth then too. Charles started with us. Charles, what? March maybe 15th?
March 23rd.
23rd. Okay, so he's been with us just about a month, but he's had a full plate, and certainly when you have time, I know you met Trustee McLaughlin already. Trustee Murphy. Oh, I thought you did. I apologize. I thought you were on that. So my apologies. This is Trustee Chris McLaughlin, Christine McLaughlin. You met Trustee Chris Murphy, Trustee Rick Dalzell, and then certainly Trustee Catalina Nava-Esparza, and you met Trustee Mike Zielinski then too. So, and certainly, did you meet the clerk before too,
No.
Charles?
No. Nice to
the
meet
clerk,
you.
Susan Putzel, too.
Nice to meet you.
So, Charles had a full plate, and he's doing a great job with us so far. Anything challenging so far, Charles, on the first 3 or 4 weeks, sir?
You can't ask that of HR.
No.
No. Okay.
I think the deep sigh was enough.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but
I'll save that, but
yeah.
nothing shall.
All right. Well, again, I was telling Charles, I go, I was going through the building and water department, and all the personnel are all thumbs up. Everybody's loving you after 3 or 4 weeks. So obviously, you know how to handle everybody down there, and everything's going real well and stuff then too. So.
I'm a likable person.
Well, thank you, Charles. And again, I asked Charles to come out tonight. Certainly, we'll be at more meetings, but Charles has been with us 3 or 4 weeks now, so I want to get a chance to meet everybody then too. So, Thanks, Charles.
Welcome and good luck.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, that's the HR guy.
Before I start with my regular reports, the trustees asked me if I would move one of the items up on the agenda. We had some people here from, for the planning and zoning, and this is regarding the gas and wash project. I tell you, why don't we just go to the whole report on that? Trustee Juarez is off. Trustee McLaurin, I saw you with notes. You going to fill in for her?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, if we're going to do the whole report, then item number 1 is a list of licenses dated March 26th through April 9th. And then the next item would be approval of an ordinance approving the gas and wash 127th Street and Costner Avenue subdivision, authorizing the rezoning from I-1 Industrial Light District to B1 Business District, granting a special use permit to allow the use and operation of a gasoline station and car wash, and granting a sign variation for the property located at the southwest corner of 127th Street and Costner Avenue. So I think I'll stop there because that's where we need to discuss the agreement that was reached between the homeowners association and the gas and wash. It's my understanding that there will be an 8-foot vinyl fence erected on the HOA property along Costner Avenue? Is that correct? Okay. And then there will also be a 6-foot fence on the property, 6-foot wall.
6-foot wall near the retention pond.
Near the retention pond at the gas and wash property. The vinyl fence that will be erected on the HOA property will be paid for by the gas and wash to satisfy the agreement of the privacy and separation between the two parcels.
So, I don't have I have to pull the ordinance back up. Trustee, I always do that. I always give you that little bump. Attorney Kankar. Yeah, so Mike, that was already included. We just need
Make a
to,
motion to amend it on its face.
on its face to include that?
Yes,
Okay.
agreements, as stated by trustee Ball.
So,
Do you need that, Madam Clerk?
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
so that's going to be an 8-foot vinyl fence on the homeowner side and a
Which is the west side of Costner,
Yes.
and then the 6-foot.
6-foot on the business side on the east side of the street.
By the retention pond.
Yes.
Detention, whichever it is.
And, Mr. Hackett, at ballpark, it was roughly, how long was that? About 65 foot, something like that? Or do you remember how long that fence is supposed to be?
Runs the 6-foot fence runs the whole section.
The 6-foot fence is roughly 300 feet. The HOA one is roughly 55, 58 feet.
Okay, so roughly 60 feet on the HOA side, and how long on the business? 300 feet on the business side, okay.
Let the record reflect that trustee Juarez has joined the meeting at 7:41
I
PM.
do apologize for being late.
I'm covering you on planning and zoning right now.
So do you want the lengths of the fence added to this, or is the description enough for you,
I think the
Mayor?
description's fine, but just so we had an idea too how big that fence was.
Okay.
Mr. Gray, thanks for coming and help out everybody tonight too, I appreciate it, John.
So I will reread that into the record before we do.
Yeah, as long as we're on this, first off, did any of the trustees have any questions on this ordinance at all, or the provisions on this yet, too? Everyone from Gas and Wash is here. Anybody have a question on any of this? No? Okay. What we could do is, we've got quite a few people here with regard to this. Actually, Trustee Juarez, that you're here now then too, would you mind pulling that from the consent agenda? We can take a vote on it now instead of holding everybody to the end of the meeting.
We can.
That'd be letter
U.
letter U.
You. So this, if you don't mind, I'll read it in, and then somebody can make the motion and make the second, since I have all the
Sure, go ahead.
details. Okay.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Approval of an ordinance approving the gas and wash 127th Street and Costner Avenue subdivision, authorizing the rezoning from I-1 Industrial Light District to B-1 Business District, granting a special use permit to allow the use and operation of a gasoline station and car wash, and granting a sign variation for the property located at the southeast corner of 127th Street and Costner Avenue, Alsip, Illinois, amended as discussed, that the HOA Homeowners Association has come to an agreement with Gas and Wash. Gas and Wash will erect an 8-foot vinyl fence on the HOA property at their cost at 4410 to 4402 West 127th Street, and Gas and Wash will erect a 6-foot fence on their property, which is the east side of Costner near the retention pond. That is the ordinance.
Did I have a motion and a second for that?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call number 1 to approve letter U as listed on the agenda with the amended verbiage. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navis Barza.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve letter U. It will now be known as ordinance number 2021-04-4.
Thank you. Trustee Wards, did you want to pick up the last part of that was number 3?
I can finish it since she
Oh, okay.
she wasn't
Okay.
here. Approval of an agreement between Gas and Wash and the Village of Alsip, where the village will reimburse Gas and Wash $350,000 for expenses related to IDOT improvements. And that's all under planning and zoning.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Seeing that I wasn't here last week, I reviewed the recording, and I just had a question or two about $350,000.
Sure.
First of all, what exactly is it being used for?
Okay, so what happened was, actually, probably, rather than me just interpreting, Mr. Hackett, do you want to speak to, or Lyman, I'm sorry. Lyman, can you grab that mic right there, please? We record all of our meetings, thank you. This is Lyman Teeman, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Lyman Teeman. I'm the attorney for Gas and Wash, and I also have with me Mike Hackett from Gas and Wash and Brian Hertz, who is our civil engineer. With regard to the off-site improvements in relation to the IDOT work on 127th Street, we are going in for a permit with IDOT. We don't know exactly what they're going to require of us, but between our traffic consultant and our civil engineer, we prepared a preliminary estimate of costs that we believe that IDOT will, for improvements that IDOT will require for 127th Street. We're asking the village to reimburse us for half of those costs. It may be that the costs are less, and maybe that the costs are more after we finally get submittal into IDOT and the approvals back. But these were based upon sound engineering principles and based upon work that we've done at other locations and our experience with IDOT, and we believe that it's going to be somewhere close to the estimate that we've prepared.
And what is the work, just generally speaking?
So we're expecting to have to do some improvements at the intersection of Costner and 127th. The traffic signal there is substandard. There's some widening to the radiuses, which will push back the traffic signal mast arms. There's some utilities, some overhead ComEd lines and things like that that are going to be in conflict with doing those improvements. So,
What'll happen if IDOT doesn't approve that?
what was the question?
What will happen if IDOT does not approve the curb, the backing up of the curb for 6-7 feet, the radius?
I haven't seen a situation where IDOT rejects
Okay.
things like that. I
So
mean,
you're expecting that it will
they're
go
going
through?
to pretty much dictate what we need to do. That's what we expect.
Okay.
Improvements were made with not only the pretense of gas and wash,
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah.
improvements were made not only with the intent of gas and wash, but with the adjacent surrounding development, including the flea market, as well as the cost of road improvement and cost of residential
to the north.
So when I had conversations with mostly Mr. Hackett, Mike Hackett, as Lyman just outlined for you, there are going to be additional costs, and what they were asking of the village was to split like revenues with us for, and that's the performance that I sent to everybody last week, and I talked with our finance director, and we thought to simplify it and basically, identify with what you were asking for was to offset cost, to split the cost with you more or less on those IDOT improvements. We were suggesting a reimbursement as opposed to trying to do all that paperwork to monitor, a revenue share and so forth then too. It's going to shake out the same way regardless yet too, but this way it's just clean and it identifies exactly what the cost is for then too. So
I'm sorry, for the record, so we can record it properly, your estimate is $700,000?
Yes, $750,000.
750, okay. Thank you.
So, and that's what I was asking the board this evening was, how it's written on your agendas was an approval of an agreement with the organization for these costs, but certainly we're going to need a resolution that our attorney will have to draft. We'll pass that at a later meeting, but we want to see if we do have, if the board's in agreement with doing this and stuff then too. That's the reason I have this on here tonight.
And I'm sorry, maybe this was discussed, but I didn't hear this either, but where's the $350,000 to $375,000 coming from? What part of the budget? I mean, finance director's here, so.
Right.
Capital improvement.
Yeah, from our general fund, right. And the way these performers are worked out right now then too, everyone had a copy of this last week. The way these performers are laid out, they are estimating this through the performa that revenues in the first year are approximately $300,000 when you're looking at gasoline annual fuel taxes, diesel annual fuel taxes, in-store sales, gaming revenue, and municipals. And so basically it's almost $300,000 in the first year, and that kicks up to about $374,000 in the second year then too. So based on that, I mean, if we were to, we're rounding that to $350,000, but obviously our expectations is that in the next 4 years we'd be able to recoup all that money and stuff then too. So that's where we stood with this. And again, what I wanted to do, and I had a great conversation with Mr. Hackett as well too last week, was that's why I sent everybody in your emails last week was there's always consider, this is a great opportunity for our community. It's a great opportunity to bring in revenues. One thing I always want to stress to everybody too at the same time is the current property owner came to me probably 3 years ago and was very let's just put it this way, the taxes that he pays on their property are substantial, and he was really considering possibly pulling out of here, and that's the thing we always look for is, fortunately we came into an opportunity like this, he can offload half that property to you folks to redevelop it and so forth then too. Otherwise, we do risk the chance that if he were to leave, our taxes, by chance our taxes can all go up, because that's another $250,000 a year that's not going to be funded. So, I mean, this is a great opportunity to help him. This helps us, and this is going to generate a lot of sales tax and property tax for us to meet our expenses here for the village at the same time.
And after the first 3 or 4 years, we'll reverse.
Oh, here, I'm sorry, Lyman, yeah.
After the first 3 or 4 years, after the $350,000's been reimbursed, the village gets 100% of that revenue, and
Right.
we expect that revenue will keep climbing from year to year. So it's going to be a good positive thing for the village. It does help us because without it, we probably would not consider going forward with the development. So I think it works well for everybody, and I think it's in everybody's best interest to have the attorney, your village attorney, put together an agreement, and we'll be happy to review it with you, and hopefully everybody can sign it and we can move forward.
And so the board knows as well too, I have spoken to some of the other mayors that where you've got your establishments, and certainly you've got 2 in Mokina, and Mayor Fleischer gives you guys 2 thumbs up big time. He says you're a great organization to work with, and and you've lived up to everything that you said you'd do. And so I had a conversation with him this afternoon, and he said, very good organization to work with and stuff then too, so,
Well, we certainly appreciate your help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
sure.
I'm sorry, Joyce, did you have? Gentlemen, could you all please sign in for the record? Thank you.
Thank you.
So, again, at this time, just to wrap up what we're discussing with the gas and wash, can I ask someone, maybe Trustee McLaurin, would you be willing to make that motion?
Sure. Approval of an agreement between Gas and Wash and the Village of Alsip where the village will reimburse Gas and Wash $350,000 for expenses related to IDOT improvements.
This is letter V. V is in Victor on your agendas.
Correct. So I have a motion by Trustee McLaughlin.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Dilzall. Roll call number 2 to approve letter V as in Victor, approval of an agreement between Gas and Wash and the Village of Alsip where the village will reimburse Gas and Wash $350,000 for expenses related to IDOT improvements. Trustee Delzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Abstain.
Trustee Juarez.
No.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navas Barza.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll move on to the next item on our agendas, then. This would be item number 1, was on my report for the mayor's report. So is the approval to draft an ordinance. It's an approval to draft an ordinance for a new classification of liquor license allowing the retail sale of beer and wine for consumption on premises of a grocery store, and authorized in conjunction with the lawful operation of video gaming terminals pursuant to the Illinois Video Gaming Act. Licensing will be the same fee as that of our FG license. It's designed for convenience stores. This initial request is being made by Alsip Food for Less, owned by Kroger stores. We had a presentation by Dominic Hewitt last week. Did anyone have any, Mike, Trustee Zelinski, I know you weren't here. Did you have any questions for him at all?
No, I read through that one pretty good, so
Okay.
I'm good.
Next, we had on here the approval of a resolution authorizing the Village of Alsip to submit the Community Development Block Grant. It's the CDBG sub-recipient agreement to the Cook County for the CBD project 2006 080 for $200,000. This is a grant for street improvements. And obviously, when we're submitting for grants like this, we're asking for the board to support. Well, it seems like a no-brainer, but you do need board support to submit for these projects. So that's why, I mean, who doesn't want to get $200,000 for street improvements? That's for sure. Next is the mayor's office is going to be hosting a village-wide cleanup day on Saturday, April 24th from 9 a.m. till noon, and we need as many volunteers as possible. My assistant Becky told me, what do we have so far, Beck? About 50 people or so? Good, okay. And then we did the other just now for the gas and wash project then too. So that's all I have for this evening.
Your item 4 was the opening of the RFPs.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So clerk's report?
Thank you. Approval of the March 2021 IDOT motor fuel tax allotment in the amount of $54,579.41. And then we have approval of minutes that were presented last week. They are approval of the minutes of the December 28th, 2020 committee meeting, approval of minutes of March 15th, 2021 board meeting, approval of the minutes of the March 22nd, 2021 special board meeting, approval of the minutes of the March 29th, 2021 committee meeting, and approval of the minutes of the April 5th board meeting. I'm sorry, April 5th, 2021 board meeting. That is all, Mayor Ryan.
All right, thank you. Attorney's report, we have Mike Kinkar with us.
No report, sir.
Okay, Mike. Our engineer was excused from tonight's meeting, and
He had been here over a year.
he's been working with. We've been working on some other projects with that 131st and Holman project right now then too, so he's working with MWRD right now to help them get that project going. Public forum, did anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight? Say those must all have been the gas and wash guys over here too. So standing committee reports, Finance and IT, Trustee McGlohan.
First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated April 9th, 2021, totaling $415,719.86. Next, I have a request for approval of accounts payable dated April 19th, 2021, from the recap. General Fund, $488,397.72. Road and Bridge, $57,150.19. MFT, $1,731.86. Water and Sewer, $402,745.12. Heritage, $67,987.45, for a grand total all funds of $1,018,012.34. Next, I have a request for approval of the as-of-our findings for telecom charges. Next, then, is the approval of the PTAB settlement offer for property located at 4350 West 129th Street and 12701 South Costner. And then finally, an approval of an ordinance amending ordinance number 2020-06-4, an ordinance providing for a fiscal year 21 annual appropriation and budget for the Village of Alsip. This ordinance is in relation to the line items that need to be adjusted within the budget where we either didn't budget or overspent the budget, so we're reallocating money between the line items. And that's all I have.
For the benefit of the board, Joyce Tucker, Finance Director, with the adjustments that we're making, the amendments that we're making for the budget, we're still okay, we're not deficit or anything like that. Very good. And for the benefit of the public, she said no. Next, we have the Fire Committee report. Trustee Murphy.
I have request and approval for holiday pay in the amount of $31,445.70 as per the collective bargaining contract. I have request and approval to pay the first half of the shift commander assistant shift in the amount of $4,125 even as per the collective bargaining contract. I have approval to pay the annual incentive pay in the amount of $25,404.11 per the collective bargaining contract. I have approval for Chief Szynski to attend the Illinois Fire Chiefs Association annual symposium in East Peoria from May 12th through the 14th in the estimated cost of $612.64. This conference has been budgeted.
Actually, nothing's budgeted yet. We haven't approved it.
Last year, this year's fiscal year. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Well, nice next year.
I have a presentation and approval of the March 2021 National Fire Incident Reporting System Monthly Activity Report. And finally, the presentation and approval of the March 2021 Fire Prevention Bureau Monthly Activity Report. And that's all I have, sir.
So just to be clear, Chief, that's in the next budget that we're doing right now?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next, Police and Traffic Safety, Trustee Dalzell.
The presentation and approval of the Police Department March 2021 Monthly Activity Report. That's all I have for this evening, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Public Work and Boat Launch, Trustee Juarez.
I have an approval of the Public Works Department March 2021 Monthly Activity Report. That's all, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next, Sewer and Water, Trustee Nava Esparza.
Thank you. I have approval of the Water Department March 2021 Monthly Activity Report, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Building and Health, Trustee Zelinski.
I have an approval of the Health Department March 2021 Monthly Activity Report. Also approval for a variance for a 6-foot-high fence in front of the building line at 12450 South Mansfield Avenue, provided that no privacy fencing or privacy inserts are installed, nor can the homeowner install any privacy landscaping to the front or side of said fencing to impede the vision of the adjacent driveways to possibly endanger pedestrian traffic on an immediate sidewalk at this location. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
So, Roger, I added that verbiage at the end, and you were on vacation last week, so I couldn't talk to you about it. The conversations that you had with that particular homeowner, are they okay with this?
The homeowner was in agreement with that.
Okay, good. I appreciate that, because you've been taking some time doing stuff then too, so I didn't really have more of a time to work with you on that, so I had to ad lib here, but he's okay with this and stuff then too?
Yes, he is.
Okay, thanks. All right, thank you, trustee. Anything else?
No, that's okay tonight.
Human Resource and Insurance, trustee Murphy.
I have approval of the Village of Alsip's insurance renewal with the Horton Group for the following coverages: general liability, public officials liability, law enforcement, legal liability, EPLI, auto, and umbrella, at a cost of $315,775 with ICRMT, Illinois Counties, Counties Risk Management Trust, workman's compensation, at a cost of $435,347 with IPRF, that's the Illinois Public Risk Fund. The total premium will be $769,122, effective May 1st, 2021 through May 1st, 2022. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. And just to note, I took this off from the booklet, or I'm sorry, from the RFP that was given to us a couple of weeks ago, but it's to be noted that ICRMT is a very good company, the Illinois Counties Risk Management Trust, and they are replacing Hudson, who used to be our carrier. So this is the new carrier for our liability insurance.
And actually, the cost went down between this fiscal year and next year.
Yeah, I was anticipating more, but that's the change made the difference on that
Right.
and stuff then too. So,
Yep.
Next is the special committee reports, economic development. Trustee Nava Esparza.
Thank you. I have no report this evening, Mayor.
Okay. I actually, trustee, just so you know, I'm working on some things right now. I'll copy your committee on it. The last 2 weeks, we've had a lot of meetings with business expansion in town, and I was actually on a call today with Commissioner Donna Miller. Sorry, I was drawing a blank there for a second, but I was on with a couple of other mayors, and everybody's always looking for more economic development opportunities. So we had the Southland Economic Development Commission on there with us as well too, and I told them about some of the projects we have going on right now, and or things that we're looking at with expansion and so forth. And it's one thing to offer that class 6 or class 7 incentives. I'm like, what else do you have? Because that's, for some people, it's not just enough. People want to spend money, expand their businesses. So I'm going to be working with with their office, with the chamber, with the county. With the county's economic development team. So I'll share some ideas. We got to work more one-on-one. You can't do it on a group call, that kind of thing too, but I'll clip you guys in that. I'll clip your committee in that when I get some more information. Village properties, trustee McLaughlin.
I just want to report that the new carpeting is starting to be installed at the heritage complexes this week. And I want to let any of the residents that might be watching know that per the contract, all wood subflooring will be re-secured with screws, and all flooring that is unlevel will be drewed up, and the hallway carpeting will be twice as thick as the original was. So they should have some nice hallways once this is all finished. And anyone who wants to see what the carpeting is going to look like, there is a sample available at Zeiler's management office. That's all I have.
No problem. No, I got a couple of calls last week. People were just interested, and the buildings typically have like a burgundy color carpet in there. And now Roger picked out a kind of a brown and tan print, and it's actually going to be in the hallways. It's in large squares, so those are going to be taken out and removed if in the event they get damaged. But the stairs are being with the rolled carpet because they're being wrapped, right? California wrap is sometime, Roger. So Becky's got a sample over at the Zoller office in case anybody wanted to see that. I think it looks nice. I mean, did they get a unit done yet? And the building's
They
done?
have not, they've gotten all of them ripped out, and they're going through this weekend prepping everything, and then next week they will start laying all the carpet. They're planning on getting one building done a day at each property.
I like how you did the contract net, though, too, because I went back over that a second time after I was getting these calls. And when I've walked a couple of those hallways to meet with residents, those things can get loud. I mean, in some of those buildings, they've got wood flooring underneath there, and they make a lot of noise when you're coming down the hall. But we're gonna tighten all those up, though, huh?
Yes, we are.
That's great. Yeah, like my house, you can hear when somebody's coming up the stairs and stuff then, too, you know, so, very good. Next, we had ordinance and legislation. Trustee Zelinski?
No report this evening.
Okay. And then we already did plan and zoning. Does anyone have any presentations, petitions, or communications? No? Did anyone want to remove anything from the consent agenda?
Mayor, I'd like to remove item A.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, then can I get a motion to establish the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
As a reminder, letter A has been removed by trustee McLaughlin, and letters U as an umbrella and V as in Victor have already been voted on. This is roll call number 3 to establish the consent agenda. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navis-Barza.
Yes.
Motion carries to establish the consent agenda.
Very good. Can I get a motion and a second then to...
Motion to approve the consent
consent
agenda
agenda?
as presented.
Right.
Second.
Roll call number 4 to approve the consent agenda. Letter B as in boy, approval of a resolution authorizing the Village of Alsip to submit the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, subrecipient agreement to Cook County for CDBG project 2006-080, $200,000 grant for street improvements will become resolution 2021-04-R-1. We have approval of a list of payroll dated April 9th, 2021, totaling $415,719.86. Approval of a list of accounts payable dated April 19th, 2021, totaling $1,018,012.34. Letter M, as in Mary's, approval of an ordinance amending ordinance number 2020-06-4, an ordinance providing for a fiscal year 21, which is May 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2021, annual appropriation and budget for the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, will become ordinance number 2021-04-5. Again, this is roll call number 4 to approve the consent agenda as presented. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navis-Barza.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda as presented.
All right, thank you. We have one item removed, letter A. This is the approval to draft an ordinance for a new classification of liquor license allowing the retail sale of beer and wine for consumption on premises of a grocery store and authorized in conjunction with the lawful operation of video gaming terminals pursuant to the Illinois Video Gaming Act. Licensing will be the same fee as that of an FG license. The initial request is being made by Alsip Food for Less, owned by the Kroger stores. This was pulled by Trustee McLaughlin. Did we have a motion on this item before we have discussion? Just want to see if anybody's interested in this first. We have a motion and a second.
And why wouldn't you have discussion first?
Just want to see if this is actually on the table first, then we can have discussion about it then too.
I'd motion it.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. So that'll open up for discussion. Did anyone have questions?
Questions? I just pulled it because I wanted a separate vote on it, as I'm just not sold on the concept yet.
Okay. Anybody else have a question on it? Okay. Well, we had a motion and a second. Can we call the roll, please?
Yes, this is roll call number 5 to approve letter A, approval to draft an ordinance for a new classification of liquor license allowing the retail sale of beer and wine for consumption on the premises of a grocery store and authorized in conjunction with the lawful operation of video gaming terminals pursuant to the Illinois Video Gaming Act. Licensing will be the same fee as that of F. Frank G. George license. This initial request is being made by Alsip Food for Less, owned by Kroger. Again, this is roll call number 5. Trustee Delzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
No.
Trustee Juarez.
No.
Trustee McLaughlin.
No.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navas Esparza.
No.
Motion fails.
That was, I'm just making it out, it's 4-2?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next, we had the, did anyone have any unfinished business? How about any new business?
I do for the clerk's office. The office supervisor and myself were notified today that we are having a current deputy collector that has turned in her 2-week notice. Her last day will be May 3rd. With the approval and consent of the board, I would like to post internally. Per the AFSCME agreement, we have to post the position internally for 5 days. I would like to do that as soon as possible. And if there are no people that apply, we would then like to go ahead to advertise for that. Obviously, that will take some time. You have to advertise for a couple weeks, and then the candidates would need to be reviewed and subsequent interviews going. But seeing as how we are going into vehicle sticker season, which begins May 1st, didn't want to delay even starting this process until sometime in May or June. So if I can have a consensus from the board to post it internally to start.
Fine with me.
Pardon me?
Fine with me.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a contractual thing, so, I mean, it's...
Yeah. All right. Yeah, all right. It will, because, okay, we'll do that. We'll just, we'll take a consensus about advertising in-house for a week.
Correct. And then if there are no takers, we would like to go ahead and advertise in the newspaper. The last time we had to fill the position, the ad ran for approximately 2 weeks. There were over 12 candidates that were then reviewed by the office supervisor as well as the HR manager, and they selected a handful of people to be interviewed, and then after they whittled that down, then it was interviewed by the clerk, and obviously there will somebody else be seated in this position at that time, but hopefully it's not just starting advertising and starting the interview process and putting the next clerk in kind of a bad position, especially going into sticker season. So again, I would request that the board give a consensus to advertise internally for 5 days and then approve an advertisement on the newspaper and on the website.
That's fine. Go ahead. You want
Trustee Delzell.
Yes.
Trustee, do you mind if I just go around the room?
No, just go around the room.
Okay. Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Navas Esparza.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin. Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Can I get a motion then to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. We'll adjourn this meeting then at 8:17 p.m. Thank you very much.